And welcome back, y'all. Today you're listening to the Radio Courtroom, but with Brother Shamari. We are live down here at the Free Library of Philadelphia, 1901 Vine Street. Come on down. I think we have up until 4 o'clock for you to come on down and participate in the festivities for Love to Thrive, Black Cultural Heritage Celebration. I want to jump right in because I have Victoria Bryant sitting next to me, and I understand that she's with the Tanner House. I get that part, but she's the design team kind of brains. The visual brains.
Yes, I am.
Conceptual brains. How would you define your role?
I am the project manager, and I am an architect, a part of Union Studio.
I used to want to be an architect
when I
was a little boy.
And yeah, we're basically pulling together the design team for the Henry Osawa Tanner revitalization project.
What goes into that? I mean, project management in and of itself, in general, is pretty comprehensive. It has a lot of elements. But in this particular project, what does it mean to be the design team manager?
Great question. So basically, one thing that we loved about being a part of this project was the rich history, and especially at our company, Union Studio. Something that's really important to us is just being really informed and knowledgeable about the history, the context of a project that we're working on. So for the design process of the Henry Tanner House, we started off with a lot of research and looking into the history of the Tanner family, just because that was going to be the main inspiration for the project. So after research, we started looking at imagery that was inspiring, pulling different precedent images of what we wanted the interior and the exterior of the space to look like. And then from there, we started putting together programming schematic plans. And during that whole process, we're working with other trades. We're working with a structural engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, plumbing, as well as an interior designer. So as the project manager, I'm basically pulling together all of those trades and making sure that everything is coordinated, brought together, and that the design is working together in tandem, and just pulling together collective.
Were you yourself personally knowledgeable of Henry Osawa Tanner before the project?
So I was. I knew about him being a prolific Black painter, but what's been incredible being deeply involved in the project is learning about the history of the Tanner family.
Right.
I didn't know about Bishop Benjamin Tanner. I didn't know about him being a minister speaking multiple languages. Sarah, her background as formerly enslaved, migrating up north, and then becoming college educated, becoming an educator herself. There's just such a deep, rich history throughout the entire Tanner family, and that was new to me, being a part of this project.
Out of everything that you learned and was revealed to you, what's the most interesting and the most, what's the most interesting or enlightening? I'll start there.
Okay. I would say the most interesting piece of history that I learned was how many firsts were a part of the history of the Tanner House. I believe it was Hallie who was the first female licensed physician in the family. And then learning about Sadie, who I believe was the first Black individual to receive a PhD in economics, and then became a lawyer. So just learning about how many firsts were a part of the Tanner family legacy was the most interesting part of the project to me.
Tell me a little bit more about Union Studio.
Union Studio, we are a newer architectural firm here in Philly. We have roots in Providence, Rhode Island, have been around for the last 30 years. But 5 years ago, we opened up our studio in Philadelphia. We're located in Center City. And something that really drew me to working at Union was the fact that they really focus on doing mission-based projects. So we do a lot of affordable housing. We do a lot of community spaces, civic and cultural spaces, but do a lot of work with the intention of working with communities, doing community engagement, letting people know about the entire design process throughout so that we're collaborating with the neighborhoods that we're building. We're not just designing and thinking that we have all the answers.
So you're learning more about the Tanner House itself and that history. And then also, I guess, working with Chris, with Friends of the Tanner House, and the other cultural, historical, black-related sites around the city of Philadelphia. I'm wondering, from your design lens, do you see the potential for a bigger story, a bigger movement, maybe weaving that together, and how, using your design brain, how would that look for you outside of touring and going to these different sites? Like, I went to the museum, the EJI Museum in Montgomery, and just visual storytelling to me at its best there. Between the three areas that they had, it's just the way that they drew you in through the design and packaging information through design, I thought was just very powerful. And I'm wondering, as you're looking at this project and you understand the potential to link to this larger story, what's your design brain telling you about the potentiality there?
Okay, yeah, no, that's a really great question. I think especially for historical Black sites in Philadelphia, one thing that I'm noticing and that is consistent is the fact that there's a very specific architectural language when it comes to the landscape of Philadelphia. You walk around Strawberry Mansion, you see so many homes that have like very similar architectural notes, the bay window, the style, the size and shapes of windows, the entry, the stoop. And so I think one important thing that could connect all of these sites together is paying homage to the historic language of the architecture in these communities and bringing those commonalities together. Maybe it is through marketing and highlighting. Maybe there's an exhibit where we talk about the different aspects of architecture in Strawberry Mansion and the detailing, and inform the public about the structures that they actively are living in. There's these old historic homes that families are living in, and just teaching them about, okay, well, these are the architectural details that are prevalent in your neighborhood, keeping the neighborhood informed about just like the architectural language that they see every single day.
Are you from Philly?
So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, okay.
I've been living in Philadelphia for the last 6 years.
I got people in that neck of the woods.
Okay,
Bed-Stuy people.
Yes, love Bed-Stuy. My dad's from Bed-Stuy.
And okay, so you might get this question in, because when I went to school in D.C., Bed-Stuy. As an outsider, if you look, you can kind of see the Black imprint.
Yes.
What have you observed as the Black imprint on the Philadelphia architectural design historic scene? Like, have you seen a Philly Black flavor?
Yes,
in
yeah,
certain
definitely.
neighborhoods? Talk a little bit about that.
Especially coming from Brooklyn, something that I love about Philadelphia is how much it reminds me of the Brooklyn that I grew up in. I'm older. I grew up in Brooklyn in the 90s, 80s, early 2000s. And it's changed so dramatically. It's changed, like, I can't even remember. I can't even walk around and see what
city, to be honest with you.
Exactly. But being here in Philly in present day, there's notes that remind me of the Brooklyn that I grew up in. When you talk about like a Black architectural theme, I think about the stoops. I think about gathering on the stoops, gathering in front of the home.
Right.
That's where you congregate with your neighbors. That's where you get all the latest updates about what's happening in the neighborhood. Yeah. So I would say that that's one component that I feel like is pretty consistent throughout, just the stoops, the importance of gathering in front of the home.
So give us a sense, and we got to sign off really quickly, but give us a sense of the next phases of your work regarding the Tanner House.
Definitely. So we just wrapped up the second phase of the design project, the design development phase. That's basically where we determined what all the spaces in the house would become. And then we compiled a set of architectural drawings that now will lead us to the last design phase, construction documentation. That's where we flesh out all of the detailing. That's where we develop a permit set so that we can bring our drawings to the city, get approval to start construction. So really excited that we're basically only a month and a half away from the final design set that we're putting together.
Okay. I'm hoping to get the chance to interview you in the future because I really want to talk about how computers, technology, AI has impacted the field of architecture.
Yes.
I know when I first wanted to go in, it was still in a hands-on phase, and I liked the idea of math and art. But then CAD started coming in, and I wasn't too computer literate at the time, so it kind of scared me. But I'm wondering, what is the field now, and how would you invite this generation to still pursue architecture? But that's a whole nother thing. Right now, how do people follow and keep in touch with the design evolution going on at the Tanner House? Should they reach out to the Tanner House, or is there a way to kind of see the designs as they're developing? Are they stored somewhere? How does that work?
So definitely reach out to the Tanner House, but you can also look at our website, unionstudioarc.com. We've been posting updates as they come about the design, and we do a monthly newsletter. So we can definitely keep everybody informed about the latest work that we're doing, including the Tanner House.
All right, Brooklynite Victoria, thank you for joining us here on. For Love to Thrive, Black Cultural Heritage Celebration. I had a brain freeze for a minute. This is the Radio Courtroom. My brother Shamari sitting in for Michael Cord. We're coming up on the 2 o'clock hour. When we come back, we will continue our conversation. Stay tuned.
Be sure to tune in Mondays and Fridays for current traffic and weather reports, brought to you in part by Jefferson.
For Pennsylvania